This episode of the DJ Force X podcast is proudly sponsored by Fixed. Fixed is a fan and artist-friendly independent record label that specialises in hybrid electronic rock. It's home to the likes of Celduella, Blue Starly, I Will Never Be the Same, Richie Nix, The Algorithm, Voicians, CD Akira, and a whole bunch more. Check out their latest label sampler for just $1 at their official store, fixedstore.com. That's FIXT store.com. Save 10% off your first order by using my coupon code FORCEX. That's FORCEX. They have loads of shirts, hoodies, stickers, posters, and many other accessories for all their artists, and this is available worldwide with fantastic international shipping rates to go with that. So head over to fixedstore.com and check them out. And don't forget, use my coupon code FORCEX. Hello and welcome to the DJ Force X podcast, episode 42. Coming up, I have Jeramie Kling. He's the drummer from Necromancing The Stone. He was also in the band The Absence as well. If you're into the kind of death metal scene, you would have most probably heard of them. But anyway, Necromancing The Stone have a new album out, Jewel of the Vial. It is out on August the 5th on Metal Blade Records, which as of the time of releasing this is next week. You can preview a couple of tracks now off their website. There are 2 tracks currently available on their Bandcamp. There are 4 on Apple Music. I'm not sure how many are on Spotify, but go check it out. It's good stuff. If you like your sort of like power metal, heavy metal, like classic heavy metal of like Maiden, Priest, kind of King Crimson type, Merciful Fate, etc., all those kind of bands, check it out. It's great. It's a good album. It's fun. It's great. Anyway, on to this week. Again, please rate and review this show on iTunes if you get the chance. Pop onto iTunes, leave a review. I'll give you a shout out on the show if you do it as well. Also, vote for me, Best of the Bay, which is something here in Tampa Bay. It's a newspaper called Creative Loafing, and they have an annual awards ceremony where they basically have local podcasts, radio shows, and radio personalities, amongst other things. Those are the 3 things I'm actually nominated for. But if you can go to cltampa.com/BOTB, and under the People, Places and Politics section, you'll find me under Best Podcast, Best Internet Radio Show, and Radio Personality. If you can vote for me on there, that would be awesome. Again, let me know if you voted. I'll give you a shout out on my show. And talking of that, shows, my radio shows every Tuesday on totalrock.com at 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. East Coast. And on Saturdays at midnight on the mix.fm, that's mixx.fm, Eastern time as well. And they're both available on the TuneIn radio app, so you get that for your phone. It's a free app, and you can find us on there. And also, you can listen on demand to the show on Mixcloud. So on the Wednesday after the first airing, it gets uploaded to Mixcloud. So that's mixcloud.com/DJ Force X. All one word. And there's about 129 episodes of this. And yeah, so you can go back and listen to all of them if you want. They're about an hour long each, so there's plenty of music there to listen to. So yeah, and to a new feature on this show this week, I'm going to try it out, see if you like it. Comic Book of the Week. Because this kind of interview is a bit more on the nerdy side, I thought I'd throw some stuff in there. Anyway, I've been really enjoying, it's been out for a couple of weeks now, but really enjoying The Dark Knight Returns Last Crusade, the one-shot prequel by Frank Miller, and who else we got? We got Azzarello, Romita, and Steigerwald. I've got it in front of me right now. I should have had that ready. But anyway, it's a prequel to The Dark Knight Returns. It kind of takes how it drove Batman to the edge of breaking point. It's dark, it's gritty, and it's really good. I mean, it's no masterpiece, but it's a good read. I mean, compared to The Dark Knight, it pales slightly, but it is only a one-shot prequel, so you kind of take it for what it is. But it's good. It just kind of takes away. It makes Batman a little bit more human. And just kind of, I'm not going to give anything. I'm trying not to give anything away. No spoilers or anything. But it's, I'd say pick it up. It's a great read. It's like, I think it was like $6, $5-6 here. So it's probably about £4 or £5 in the UK. But yeah, check it out, pick it up. It's a one shot. You don't have to buy a whole series at that point, but it was a good read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyway, on to this week's show. This is Jeramie Kling of Necromancing the Stone. Enjoy. Welcome to this week's show. I have Jeramie. He's the drummer from the band Necromancing The Stone. Welcome, Jeramie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Cool, no worries, man. Thank you for joining me on the show. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Started my day off with some chicken wings, got some Florida sunshine, flip-flops on. Life's good.
Nice.
Life is good.
Life in Florida is good, yes.
Yes, sir.
I had a similar morning, but without the chicken wings. Cool. So, yeah, Necromancing the Stone. They've just about to release a new album called Jewel of the Vial, which is out on Metal Blade Records on August 5th, which is next week, the count of recording this. Could I get some background on the band? I know you released an EP last year, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, just to get some background on the band, just for the listeners wanting to know a bit more about you.
Okay. It's a pretty cool story, and I've gotten pretty streamlined at telling it. My first couple times it was a bit long-winded, so I had come home from an absence tour, and it was kind of like it was a pinnacle moment for the band. It was like a turning point, paradigm shift, and I was like, I need to do something. I was like, this band is the direction it was going. It needed to go. I needed to go somewhere else for the absence. So I was like, man, I want to jam with some guitar players. Like, who do I want to play with? And I literally was a completely tiny list of one. It basically consisted of James Malone. I love Arsis. I think that band is fantastic. I think his phrasing is great on guitars. It's like how he sings in conjunction with his guitars are great in my opinion. And it's just good melodic technical death metal. So I was like, I wonder if he'd be down to rock with me. So I hit him up on Facebook, and I literally wrote, "Dude, can we rock?" Like, and it is funny as hell. And then he writes me back. He wrote, "Yes, of course." He's like, "What do you have in mind?" And it was like, "Well, Doom is happening right now. It's kind of I don't know. It's not really my thing. I mean, I like it. I like to listen to it. I just don't know I'd want to play it." And it was, then we kind of was like, well, I mean, what about like classic heavy metal? And he was like, "Dude, now that you mention it, these other guys, and that would be John and Justin from Necromancing, he was like, they have this project called Necromancing the Stone that they wanted me to be a part of like 4 years ago or 5 years ago, something crazy. Like, I mean, this project had been shelved for years, like totally just sitting on ice. And it was demos that Justin and John had done for about 5 songs. Yeah. And first I heard the name and I was like, yeah, that kicks ass. 2, I heard Justin's magic guitar playing, and then 3, John just really sealed the deal, man. His vocals have something special to me. I hear it and I go, man, I don't know what it is. It's familiar, yet it's totally new. Yeah. So as soon as James sent that over to me, I heard it and I was like, oh yeah, I'm in. And it was just a violent shift into first gear right there. It was like, let's go. We immediately recorded the 3-song demo. I tracked it on drums here in Florida, summer of 2014. Then I flew up to Ohio to track the boys, so all the guitars and all the vocals. Yeah. Ryan did all the bass over in LA, and then I sent it off to my buddy Peter Tadgren to mix, and that caught the attention of Metal Blade, and here we are now. Fast forward 2 years later, and we're on the cusp of the release for the first record.
Yeah, no, that sounds really cool. I mean, having band members so spread out, how has that worked for you? Obviously, I know you said you flew up to the various parts where they are to record them and things, but how does that work sort of going forward when it comes to touring and things like that?
Well, I mean, I have a rehearsal place here in Florida, so it's a nice hub. It's a nice place where we can go. I mean, or we can just go rehearse anywhere before a tour.
Yeah.
We're all very professional anyways. Everybody is in a different band.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is in a different band, and 3/5 of us have been doing this for the 12-year, 13, 14-year mark. So I mean,
yeah,
there's no mystery here. None of us are green. It's like we know what to do. Yeah. I mean, I can show up to a gig totally rehearsed, jam with the guys, get the vibes down, and then everything is good.
Yeah.
The same with James, same with Ryan, and yeah.
Cool. So the album, which is coming out this week, or next week even, recording this. So
it's coming out sometime soon.
It's coming out sometime. I was trying to think. I'm thinking like my brain's not quite in there on the dates, but it's right in front of me. It says August 5th. I listened to it. I got sent it. It's a solid album. I'll tell you that.
Thanks, man.
It's kind of like you say. It's familiar, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It's like kind of a bit Priest in some places.
Judas Priest, sometimes,
and a bit of Maiden as well. Obviously, being from England, those are my sort of like, meat and potatoes when it comes to metal. And I mean, it's great. I mean, I love Crusher, The Descent, Bleed for the Night. What's the other one? The last track, The Battle of Morningstar.
That's a good one too.
Unfinished Business as well. I really like that track. So, like I said,
the Battle of Morningstar is actually my son's favorite song. He loves that.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
it is a good track.
That and Bleed for the Night.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I say it's a really solid album, kind of like a sort of like you say classic heavy metal, kind of verging on the sort of like power metal elements and things like that. So tell me more about the album. It's called Jewel of the Vial. I could see the reason for the name to the point, because obviously Necromancing the Stone. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, the whole bit is meant to be, it's meant to be campy. It's meant to be tongue in cheek. I mean, think Sam Raimi in traditional heavy metal sense.
Yes,
it's very much like, fuck yeah, this is serious. This is very much serious, but it's also goofy.
Yeah,
a little bit. If you can't have a good time with it, then I don't know.
No,
if you can't have a good time with it, then go. You have to listen to something else. And if you and there are bands out there which are just dead set on being completely serious, and that's okay. You can rock them too. This is just meant to invoke smiles, and it's meant to meant to make you feel good. Like, oh yeah, man, like fuck yeah, like what you were saying with Priest. Like when I listened to Priest or Maiden or any of those bands when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, I was like, hell yeah, just triumphant guitars and stuff was good, and possibly we could see a dragon, and all right, let's kill that dragon maybe. Holy shit,
No, it's exactly that. I was going to say the kind of lyrical content and the storytelling in the songs does have that fantasy element to it and stuff. And
yep.
Is there a story going through the album, or does each song represent something different?
Yeah, each song represents something different. John is a very talented songwriter, in my opinion. He can tell a story to where you're like, oh wow, okay, and then you're like, oh man, that's terrifying, or like, man, that would be a bummer, and then it's like, oh, a little bit of hope. No, oh maybe, and then he can just leave it on like a half note. It goes up, and you're like, huh, okay, all right. It's pretty great, man. So no, there's not really like a commonality thread running through the whole thing.
Okay.
But I guess each one is definitely localized to each song. There's stories in each one, but they're all a bit. There's some grim. There's some I mean, I guess it kind of all does fit in the same palette, but it's
Yeah, I was just saying, there's some sort of like similar themes to the songs, or from other like stories and things. So I was just wondering where that was pulled from. Was it something? It obviously wasn't a singular book.
No. They're all different. Like the one Rotted Reunion that's a really really cool one I like to talk about, because it's the story of a necromancer. All right, and he wants to bring back his love. She had passed away, and he brings her back with with some incantations and some spells and whatnot that necromancers do. And so the screaming vocals in that song is actually it's a representative of her.
Okay.
So that's her answering back, and her lyrics are, "How dare you resurrect me for this? With your spells, you shall taste the hate on my lips." So she's fucking pissed off at him, right? So classic love story. Like, this dude's missing his old lady, brings her back. She shuns him. Then he's like, and at the final lyrics there is, so now you walk away, or now I walk away taking a lonely grave, so he's like, he's alone, and it's like, oh man, I like that. Every time I hear about a reunion, I'm like, oh man, what a bummer for that dude.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And then James played some sexy ass melody line. We always joke about it because it was like, it sounds like you would picture lawyers having, like a lawyer having sex on a really nice couch in like the late 80s, with a nice like a Mercedes parked outside, and like the that's what that melody line reminded all of us of. Nice. Like lawyer sex melody. Yeah, we were laughing.
That's awesome.
Like I said, man, we have fun the whole time, man. Yeah. It's if it's not fun, you're doing it wrong.
No, exactly. I mean, like I said, you said before, but I found the album fun. It was a lot of fun. I love that kind of style of like heavy metal as well. Awesome. Because it tells good stories, a lot of them. And, growing up listening to, like, let's go back to Maiden, for instance, and listening to like Bruce's vocals and where he used to take stuff from, from various like books of, fantasy books or whatnot. And I just love like songs that tell stories, regardless of where you go, because you get the sort of like the kind of over repetitive stuff that, is pop music or whatnot, and some of the sort of like bigger commercial metal have that kind of, that repetitive strain to them, and it's not really, there's no story or substance to it.
No, it's a bit of a lost art, I mean, and it's good to, like, I think it's refreshing to have that, and I listen to the band and I'm like, I cannot believe I even play in this band. I'm so pumped on it. I'm like, I would listen to this. I tell my wife, I'm like, I would listen to this. She goes, you do listen to it. And I'm like, all right. I was like, but you know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't in the band, I would listen to this. I think this is pretty cool stuff, man.
No, that's good. Because, it gives you that kind of like listener like separation from, obviously you're on it, but if you don't feel like you're on it and you're enjoying it, that's great, Yeah,
it's really cool. I mean, it's really cool to have that happen. It's a bit of a departure from, my other. It's a total departure from my other bands. I never foresaw myself being in a traditional heavy metal or classic heavy metal kind of band. Like I just, not that I was opposed to it. Just I never even really I never had those dreams as a kid. And then here it is, it's in full fruition. It's like, oh wow, all right, man, this is cool.
Nice. So what are your plans going forward? Obviously the album's coming out. Are you planning to tour?
Yes, we have a tour booked for November and December. We are confirmed for it. I cannot divulge that information yet, but it'll be in the States. And it'll be our first run out. It'll be a good solid lineup for a tour. And it'll be a really good time, man. Looking forward to it.
Cool. Have you got any plans of hitting Europe? Because that kind of sound is, prominent over there. Is there any chances of hitting the shores over there?
Oh yeah, of course. That's for sure on the docket. We're actually in the process of securing a booking agent, but we had to get the record out first in order to kind of cause some waves to, pick up an agent. But the States was a little bit easier because all of us are everything's so incestuous over here. Like us guys being in the bands that we're in, we have so many friends and connections. It was a bit easier, for us to lock in a booking agent. So, but Europe, that's soon to follow. And like you said, I mean, that's where it's going to really thrive, man. Hit the summer festivals, play Wacken, play Hellfest, all that, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, cool. So has it been well received so far from the general critics, or is it have you yet to hear?
As a matter of fact, I haven't read one negative anything.
Nice.
So it's all been positive. It's been a surprising response. I mean, typically, like the Lamb Goaters or the Metal Sucksers or any of those websites like to rip you apart, and it hasn't really happened. And it's like, okay, cool, man. I mean, hopefully people hear it and just go, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate original music, and this is something that's not a run of the mill every single day cookie cutter thing. Maybe I'm into it. And here's something that like I think this band is like I consider it like it's like panty bridge music, and I say this like soil work. I mean, I really, when I was younger, I really liked. I grew up listening to Chain Heart Machine and Predator's Portrait, so on and so forth. And you know, my wife isn't so much into metal, like at all. And I mean, she likes a little bit here and there, but I mean, we can put on Stabbing the Drama, and she likes that record. So I mean, I can still get my fix in. I can listen to some soil work, you know, with my wife, and you know, she can hear it and take in. You know, Opeth is the same way. Like, you know, Blackwater Park, of course, is fantastic.
Yeah.
Deliverance is fantastic, but then we could put in Damnation or any of the newer stuff, and you know, it's like a bit of like a bridge between men and women when it comes to metal. Because I mean, a lot of women like clean singing, and that's okay. Yeah. That's all right too. I mean, that's totally cool. I mean, you know, not screaming is not for everybody. And you know, and granted, I know a lot of women who like screaming vocals, so it's not just, you know, just a female thing. But
no, my wife does. So you know, it's and
so it can be just like it's a bit of a bridge, like a panty bridge, I call this. I mean, it's like, I think it's just like an extra added facet for this band. Is it can be, we can transcend genres. Like I think we could tour with an Avenged Sevenfold. I think we could tour with a you know, like, let's just say Bullet for My Valentine, Kill Switch Engage. Yep. We could go out with Ghost. We could even go out with Meshuggah. I think that their fans would be into it, because it is, like you said, it's like Priest, Maiden, you know, and most of us metal guys like our staples. Like we like the, you know, we like the originals, you know, Merciful Fate, which, I mean, there's a bunch of Merciful Fate in this Necromancing the Stone. Like, it's no surprise that James Malone and I both have King Diamond tattoos. So it's not like a fucking shock.
No. That was one of the other bands I had written down. So
yeah, I was actually waiting for it from you. I was like, Merciful Fate, you gonna say it? Or?
No, I just went for the two British ones because that's what I grew up on, and then I had a few others in there as well. So no, but that's really cool. So I've got a couple of questions left. Just sort of some. I ask this to every musician I interview or question, if you will. So I've got basically, it kind of falls on from what you were saying before. This is like your 3 top albums. So you're like, you know, ones that have really like influenced your musical stylings, influenced the person that you are. If you could pick just 3.
Okay. Well, I would have to say for sure, Sailing the Seas of Cheese by Primus.
Nice.
That was for sure a life changer for me. And I would also have to say for sure Deftones' White Pony. That was another one, which is, and I'm going purely, this is like tickling my drummer bone here. Yeah, so and let me try and come up with a third one here. And it's kind of an on the spot thing. It's a little massive of a question.
It is, yeah. That's why I like to ask it, because it does kind of pull out, you know, some interesting picks. I mean, Primus. I've not heard anyone really pick Primus before. Oh yeah, I love Primus. It's
I'm a drummer first, so I mean, I'm everything else next.
Yeah, Deftones are kind of like a lot of people. Like, I mean, I love Deftones, but yeah, a lot of people pick, and it's always a different album.
Yeah, you're right, and it it really is vast. You know? And I would also have to say, Faith No More. Cool. What the fuck? Real Thing. Yeah.
Real Thing.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another good album.
So pretty much what I just did was picked all LA bands. And 2 of which were like funk metal, right? So if that gives you any go-to of where my mind's at, typically.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, but those three for sure were really big records in my life.
Excellent.
Major records in my life.
They are fine records, each one of those. So yes, nice ones. And what are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not drumming away or producing music, what do you do?
Well, I mean, I used to go canoeing a lot up here, in about an hour north of Tampa. Go to this place called Crystal River, and we just canoe down the river, sit, vegetate, you know, just listen to the earth, that type of hippie shit. Other than that, man, I mean, everything is really just music. I don't do anything else. I mean, I rehearse, I produce, I create music. It's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't really have any other hobbies. I mean, I go out canoeing every once in a while. Sometimes I go bowling, but for the most part, no. Just do music.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. It's fair enough. Not many. I mean, there's a few musicians that have hobbies, but not most of them are just saying we just music. You know, if they're not session playing, they're producing. They're writing for the band at the time that I'm interviewing them about. So that's all cool. It's good like to be immersed in something that you can enjoy pretty much 24/7. So.
Absolutely.
Cool. And finally, where can people reach the band?
Facebook is pretty much it, man.
Yeah.
Go to Facebook, like the page, write us there if you feel like talking to us, post on our wall, all that jazz. And we are reachable. We usually have a good time. Like, I mean, going back to the campy thing, like people will post like, oh, check the song out or something like that, or blah blah. Really, really enjoying he has been awarded to you, which is totally some Dungeons and Dragons shit, but it's just funny,
yes.
I mean, because people's responses are like, oh my God, I'll take it. And we've been actually calling people like they're part of our guild and guild warriors and stuff like that. And
nice.
I don't know, just trying to, like I said, just having fun with it, because we're all video game dorks. We're all dorks.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's fair enough. If you can make it fun, keep it that way, and people respond to that. You look at some artists that take themselves seriously, and people just again lose interest after a little while. But if you're having fun with it, people are interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spoke to Andrew WK about a year and a half ago, and it's the same thing. It's that you've got to have fun with it, and he's all about fun. Everything. Oh man,
I love that. I'd actually like to. I'd like to get a link me to that podcast. I'd like to hear that.
Okay, cool. Yes, I will.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, no, cool. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have for you this week.
All right.
So thank you, Jeramie, for your time. To start with, and good luck with the album, which is out on August the 5th on Metal Blade. It is called Jewel of the Vial. And the band are Necromancing the Stone. So yeah, people pick it up. It's going to be digital, physical copies available. Are you doing vinyl?
No, not yet.
No, okay.
Nope, not yet. But cool. I think we're going to do it'll be released at a later point in time, but not for the initial run.
Cool. All right. So yeah, it's out on August 5th. So people go get it. Go check it out on the various sites as well. And yeah, again, Jeramie, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Cool. No problem. Have a good one, man.
Cool. Good talking.